Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024, it's 6:30 p.m. We are in Early Childhood Center in Palisades Park. Our quarter meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education in Palisades Park. And it will commence with a working session, and the formal action will be taken during the regular session. Flag salute will be read by Ms. Anthony Kim.
United States of America, to the republic one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Walker, please.
Mr. Chung.
Yes.
Mr. Charlie Shin.
Yes, here.
Rebecca Lee.
Here.
Ms. Suk Young Park.
Yes.
Mr. Aaron Pack. Present. Mr. William Kim. Mr. Anthony Kim.
Here.
Ms. Bo Young Yu. Ms. Yoon Min.
Present.
Dr. Cirillo.
Here.
Bush Law Group.
Here.
Ms. Jocelyn Hernandez.
Here.
Thank you.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, I hereby state that notice of the special meeting has been provided to the public by the written notice dated April 2nd, 2024. The reason this is a special meeting is because we moved our regular meeting to 1 week later, which is today. And the meeting notice has been emailed to all staff members at the District 3 school locations. Communicate to at least one of the board designated newspapers, filed with the Board of Clerks of Palisades Park. Now we'll move on to the working session, starting with about the meeting minutes. Date is on April 17th, and the budget hearing on May 7th. Is there any discussion regarding the meeting minutes? There's 2 meeting minutes that we need to approve in regular session. If not, the next order of business is reports from our committees. Finance Committee, there are 22 agendas. Mr. Shin, can you address the?
Yes, the Finance Committee have the 21 items to discuss today. Okay, the items are the first, food service vouchers, and second, secretaries and treasurers' financial reports. 3, the ratification of the board secretaries' monthly certification, and 4, approval of payroll of the April, and 5, approval of the bill list of May, and 6, the money transfer. 7, the student activity accounts. 8, approval of HVAC payment, 16 payment, and 9, approval of Lindbergh insurance payment, and 10, FSMC contract renewal for school year 2024 to 2025, and 11, the athletic reimbursement, and 12, Bergen County Special Service annual contract to non-public idea funding, and 13, tuition reimbursement for Juwon-im, and 14, education data services, the contract renewal, and 15, tax levy payments is the monthly payments is 592. This is exactly 2% amount, increased amount from the last years. Okay, and next year will be 2% increase too for the tax levy. Okay, and 16 is salary adjustment, and 17 is fund fit therapy LLC contract renewal. 19, the locker room, the conversion to preschool classroom in Lindbergh School. And 20 is William Patterson University agreement of PDS system. And 21 is out of district contract for 23 to 24. It's total 21 items to discuss.
Is there any discussion or questions regarding those 2021 agendas?
Number 9, can you tell us the status on it? Has it been paid in full or?
So with regard to number 9, the purchase order that was issued for Northeast Interior Service on the renovation of the Lindbergh School Library has been paid in full with the exemption of about $2,000, Rebecca.
Okay.
So there is minor work that has to be completed by this company. There's about $2,000 left on that purchase order.
Okay. The insurance covered the whole payment, right?
That is correct.
And also number 21, the out-of-district contract, the Benway School and Sage Alliance. Can you explain where and what those schools are, or are they the special ed?
They are special needs out-of-district placements for students with severe or more severe disabilities that our district might not be the least restrictive.
Okay.
One student is for 1 month. He was just a transfer student to our district. Fortunately, he's graduating in a month,
Okay.
but we are still responsible for the payment.
Right.
The other student, as you can see, is a prorated amount. If you look below, the $71,656.
Mhm.
It is a per diem rate of $398.08.
So the Sage School is not just for the 2023 to 2024, it's for next year too, right?
That is very much correct, unless they move over the summer, and then we are not responsible for that payment.
Any other questions? No more? Alright, so let's move on to the building and ground. Miss Rebecca Lee.
There's 2 consent agendas. One is the Learn and Grow Academy. They're having an event on Friday, June 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. I believe it's like a graduation ceremony. And number 2 is the Statement of Assurance. It's the recommendation of Statement of Assurance for testing and reporting of lead in school drinking water for 23 and 24.
Any discussion, any questions?
Just for the board's edification, the SOA is required every year of every school district. Every 3 years, you are required to do full testing. 3 years is up for us. We will be doing full testing this summer in all of our schools.
Thank you. If there's no further questions or discussion, then we'll move to Personnel Committee. Mr. Shin, Personnel.
Personnel. Very busy. Personnel, we have the 5 items. The first one is appointment of accounts payable, and the assistant, the business administrator, we are hiring as the assistant to the BA at this moment, and the starting date is to be decided later. Then the salary is $70,000, and I confirmed that if we hire the assistant business administrator, then we can save some cost we are paying to Summit every month, right? To assist the VA's work. So there is some savings, okay, by the hiring this business administrator. And second is summer school personnel, and third is multilingual, the literacy night, which is ELS before called, okay? And the fourth is request for leave, revised one. And 5 is appointment of staff. I have 5 items to discuss in personal committee.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Is there any questions?
Just clarification on number 1, this is not a new position. This is a person who has retired from our district or is anticipating to retire. So this is not a new position, this is a replacement with a change of title and certification required.
The person who's retiring was, she didn't have the title of assistant business administrator, right? She was just this account payable only.
Amongst other things, yes.
So Dr. Cyril, as you mentioned to me, we are paying to the summit $1,000 every month, right? To assist
No,
the-
not every month. This month it was $1,000. It
Right.
matters how much we rely on them.
Okay.
There are some months that during the budget, Alex still being pretty new at his job,
Mhm.
we might need their assistance further. I'm hopeful. The hope is that with this young lady,
Not immediately, but even in the future, okay, when she works well, normal the condition, then we'll say.
if there's no need for a consulting firm, that's definitely something that we will obviously review and decide at that time. We're gonna keep Summit as needed. I do not anticipate needing them very much.
Okay.
Any other discussions on the personnel issues? Okay, if not, let's move to curriculum. Our curriculum committee chair, Ms. Yu, is not here yet, but she sent me a message that might be very late today. She's stuck in the city now after work, so hopefully she can make it in 30 minutes, hopefully. So there is one consent agenda, actually one agenda, but has many field trip things on the curriculum. Nothing particular though. So let's move to what, do you have any questions? And
Dr. Searle, like in the past, would there be an orientation for the sixth graders going up to the high school?
Yep, so what we have done, and we stopped it during COVID, we had a move-up day during the school year. A couple of factors hindered that. One was if you do that in May or June, you kind of sort of forget a lot of things, so we like to bring them in early September, late August. So that's in the works with our high school administration.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
do you have more questions in curriculum agenda? If not, negotiations. Mr. William, do you have any reports?
Negotiations are ongoing, but nothing else to report at this time.
Thank you. Next is policy, Ms. Ilmin.
We have one policy resolution, which is number 5142.2, which is a physical restraint.
Dr. Searle, can you explain in further detail on that?
Yep, so this is a update from the New Jersey School Boards and JSBA, who we are members of. There's a new law, or there's legislation being proposed at the state level, and if and when needed, physical restraint for those trained in it are obviously going to have to abide by our school policy. It's not specific to Palisades Park. They recommend these updates, and we're just updating our policies.
So it wouldn't really be like, we're physically restraining.
I'm not able to physically restrain anyone unless there was a vicious attack. I would have to act accordingly, but people are trained to work with children that may suffer from a disability that requires physical restraint. They have handle with care training usually, above, behaviorists usually, and some child study team members or special ed teachers, some administrators, so they are trained. Obviously, there's a policy that's gonna require a lot of our abilities to handle those type of situations.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's important to let all people know that this is about the safety, right? It's not used as a punishment of
Absolutely not.
misconduct or misbehaviors. Do you have any other questions on this policy?
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, next, New Jersey School Board Liaison and alternate, Mr. Soo Park, do you have a report?
I don't have any report today.
Thanks. County School Board Rep and alternate, Mr. Aaron Park.
Nothing to report at this moment.
School Safety and Security Committee, Mr. Anthony Kim.
No report at this time.
Do we have all the business? That was it.
that I'm aware of.
There's two agendas under new business. One is about the primary day to be a half day in three schools, right? So this is about the, well, if I understand, this is, your recommendation is based upon.
So after
So,
consulting,
the
yeah,
safety,
so
right.
it's really, we have the community in our buildings, after consulting with the local law enforcement and to ensure, to try to expedite, our kids getting in, faculty, staff, and students getting in and getting out in the most safe manner. In the past, if your school was a voting, location, you were permitted to go virtual. No longer is that permitted. There is legislation trying to allow it again. I think we did this last year and it was definitely very much helpful. I think this primary day might be, entertaining. There are some individuals that are, I'm sure, politicking, and I just wanna make sure there's no interference with our schools and any of that.
Okay, number two, the second agenda is photo registration, statements of assurance. This is annual statements of assurance by New Jersey High School Voters Registration Law.
Yes, this is required. We just need to have an SOA. I think Alex shared that in all of your Google Drives in your folders. So this is a requirement that we have abided by all of the requirements to submit the SOA.
We did it last year too.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like, very kind of new to me. Okay. Do you have any questions or discussion on these two agendas on the new business? Now that we will go to the audience participation.
No.
No, you just wanna go back and then come back to,
Yeah, well, it's still a work session, so we have to go to the regular.
okay. Because regular, we would have to make the formal action, so I just wondered that and you wanna make comments before we go on, regular meeting.
Are you allowed to do that in work session?
Yeah, I mean, you can, whenever you typically, I mean, this is my second, my firm's 3 meetings covering, I guess. Typically, you have 2 public sessions?
We do it, now we finish it, just
Okay.
finish the working session, we move on to the regular. But we do the audience participation later, then it was after we make a formal action.
Okay,
so
that's up to you. The board can do it if it like, if it would like.
If you
Yeah.
have some issues to discuss, should we discuss now or in the main
Or
session?
about what?
Like I'd like to, fix, if there is any case, any board members wanna discuss some kind of legal issues with the Bush group, what kind of process should we take, okay?
We would just-
Please fix it, it's,
If there
tell you the truth, last year, when I tried to get the legal counsel from the attorney, he said he's always busy and he never responded to me, so there was, even though I have many issues, I never got any replies from him, so eventually I became to know that, he's not dealing with regular Board of Education member, just the president only, we have to go through the president, so this time, since, we have the attorney, I'd like to ask to fix what kind of procedure we have to take if we wanna get some kind of legal counseling.
Even the individual counseling?
Yes.
Or not in the public, right?
No.
Just
It's-
you, okay,
Of course,
each
it's
board
public
member.
issues, but not personal matters.
But something pertaining to Board of Ed as an individual member, not as a president, but
So can I make a suggestion as the attorney for the board? I think that we're gonna be going into executive session at some point to discuss a specific matter. We have to talk about, maybe there's some other matters, I'm not sure. But I know at least one that we have to talk about, and we can tack this on as an additional issue to receive attorney-client privilege, advice on. I'd like to talk to you all about that in executive session if I can.
Yeah, but I think he's asking about what if it,
Access,
Because, for
it's
example,
outside
if
of
I,
this meeting, right?
yeah.
Or you wanna, if
Right,
you have any bigger
yeah, I think I'm aware, I think what you'd like, and tell me if I'm right about this. I think you'd like to discuss access to the board attorney, is that correct?
Yes.
Outside of the meeting, like on a,
Right.
2 weeks from now, when you don't have a meeting, if you have a legal question, how do you speak to the board attorney, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd still like to be able to give that advice in executive session if possible, but that's up to you. I mean, to me, it's specific advice with relates to, state law and board policies, we can have that discussion. And I wanna read the board and have a more informal discussion about that if we can. Might be my advice to have that discussion in executive session.
Yeah.
But was he meant to say a closed session, why don't we go to the, regular, session, and then,
No,
we
this
discuss?
is not closed session matters, this is the public matters, okay? To fix the system, okay, how we can use the attorney. Because, for example, if I have some ideas for the, like, school system or some suggestions, but before I fix that, before I announce or before I open that idea, okay, I'd like to know if there is any legal matters we have to touch, involved, yeah, that's the discussion or consulting I'd like
So,
to have.
okay, so I mean, this is not a particularly sensitive matter, it just, well, it would be easier, but I could talk to you about it now if you have this question. So there's 2 factors. You have a board policy that I don't have your board policies in front of you, but I know that your board policy reflects what's in 6A 23A. I believe it's 5.1 or 5.2, but please don't quote me on that last part. But it's a regulation that came out of the Corzine administration in about 2009 or so. And what it did was it issued regulations with respect to school accountability because school districts were spending money in ways that the state had some trouble. So what they did was they adopted these regulations and said that all school districts, as a condition of receiving state aid, have to adopt specific policies. And some of them had nothing to do with this, but one of them did. And it had to do with use of professional services. And what it said was that the board has to adopt a policy, which again, I have to look, and I can look on my phone and find it at some point in the next couple minutes. Oh, we got it right here.
So in my
Yeah.
understanding that usually board member reports to the president first, then they will deliver that to
Yes.
our legal
So
counsel.
usually it's,
The board president has the right,
yeah,
as
so,
does the superintendent and the business
yeah,
administrator.
the 6A23A provision I'm referring to before I even look at this policy says that the board attorney can speak to the president, can speak to the superintendent, can speak to the BA, because it was trying to stop board members from speaking regularly to just board members as a means of maintaining costs. Because some districts, obviously not necessarily this one, but some districts, board members were using the board attorney to call, board members would call all day, and all of a sudden the fees would get high and it would get expensive for the district and as a result of taxpayers. So what this bylaw, I guess it's a bylaw, this is probably, yeah, but I don't know that this is the one.
Because it was so confusing, the Sarah came work for us, some individual board members contacted her and spoke, okay? But the last year, Mr. John Mackin, we couldn't do that, and John Mackin avoided all the contacting.
Well, I mean, you can do it, but
Or make the definite the procedures.
Yeah,
and
no,
I
I-
follow you, I don't have any problem, but it is so confusing for us.
yeah, I understand, and obviously, my job is to give you answers as a board. So my client is the board, the entity, the single entity that the 9 of you make up. But, and we're still looking for this policy. I think 6823A 65.2, I think would be in the reference.
That'll be the statute, but the policy speaks to the board president, the superintendent. We
Yeah,
had an
that-
issue years ago with OFAC, and we're trying to avoid that, to your point.
Right. But that being said, if you have an issue, I mean, the law says what it says, we can't get around that. But if you have an issue and something you want to talk to the board attorney about, you could call the board president, you can call the superintendent, and you could say, look, I have to talk about this, I have a question, and the board president will, usually let us talk about the situation, depending on what it is. So it's important at least that you know, I mean, my client is not any one of you. It's not any single one of you, it's not the board president, it's not the board vice president, it's the entity that is the board. And by the way, it's complicated, I'm not complaining, but it's difficult for board attorneys compared to someone who's representing someone in their house closing or their divorce. You have a divorce lawyer, you call your client up and say, hey, what do you want to do? With a board of education, it's 9 people who don't always agree. And so it's all, sometimes the board attorney could be used by one board member against another, and that's tricky, so that's why the state law is designed the way it is. But we're gonna figure out what your policy says, then we can talk through exactly how you wanna go about doing that in the future as a board.
Okay, we are not stupid, okay, not too stupid to discuss personal matters like that, but I'm.
I gotta bother you 1 second, if you may.
Can Mr. Shin finish first?
Okay, but what I'm talking about is, okay, when we, as I told you, okay, when I suggest some kind of ideas, okay, I'd like to check if it is okay in the legal points or not, okay, in advance. That's the reason I'd like to contact the attorneys to check the legal matters. So should we go through first we report to the president, then go to you?
Absolutely, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
It's not a problem, but just I want to fix what kind of procedure we
Yeah,
have to take.
that's the state law requires that procedure. I'm sorry, I wanna make sure that you understand why, because I'd like to talk to all of you if I can, but we're barred from doing that, that's the issue. I can talk to you as long as the board president and as long as you go through the proper procedure, any of you can talk to the board president. To the board attorney.
It was not like that before, so that's the reason
Okay.
I'm talking about.
I understand.
now.
By the way, thanks for bringing that issue up, because I was going to actually, talk about the policy in the beginning of this year, since I became a president. But I thought many of are aware of this, that we actually was, we learned about this policy last year and 2 years ago, so if there's any board member who are not aware of this policy, then please, now you know, and, cause I see some board members contact the legal attorney in our invoice, so don't hesitate to ask the presidents that we can discuss and then report that to the legal counsel, okay? Cause we are working as a whole board. Okay, Mr. Anthony, can you have comments?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, that I guess by chain of command, if any board members, they have concern or interest, where the topics or issues, they have to talk, that, they gotta talk to president of the board first, and then let the president of the board talk to the attorney. That way you can save money, save time. That was what I believe he meant to say, and then from this time on, let's say if I have some issues, I'll talk to you, call you, we'll discuss, and then you can directly talk to your attorney. That's what I meant to say, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. That, actually, you are basically talking about the policy, so, thank you. And since we spent some time on this issue, that I will just move to our audience participation to the regular session. So, may I have a motion to close working session and move on to the regular session?
I'd like to make a motion to close our session to open the regular session.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
All
All
right.
in favor? Any objection? Any more discussion? Okay, the first, the board presidents. Welcome everyone. I see more people, more faces today. But may I ask how many are here as a parents?
We're all here as parents. I'm a parent.
I know, I'm sorry, like
works.
non-school employee or non-teachers. 5 of us, you know this. Okay, no matter what, we welcome you all and thank you for having a time being here tonight in this meeting. And another one is the memorial parade. Maybe all of our board members received the email from Mr. Alex regarding this memorial parade at the last minute. It's not for us, right, because we were notified pretty late. So if anyone who could participate in the parade next Monday, then please respond to Mr. Alex. And the parade started at 10 a.m., but if anyone will participate in the parade, lineup starts at 9:30 at North and Ruby, East Ruby. Next, we have reports from our superintendents.
Thank you, Ms. Chung. I'm gonna begin by asking Ms. Hernandez, do you have anything as a student rep to report? Thank you. There are many night events specific to our 3 schools. Tomorrow being the first one that comes to mind, our academic awards night at the junior senior high school. Obviously a lot of time and energy goes into planning such a ceremony to honor, to acknowledge, and to obviously wish many of our seniors the best of luck in what is going to be a fun, hopefully last month of school. In the coming weeks, we have our senior prom. We have a lot of field trips. We are hopeful that the weather cools down a little bit, even though we all love the 88 or 87, whatever it got to today. But again, we are grateful that our air-conditioned rooms are sort of kind of getting there. Be patient at the junior senior. I think next year by this time, I'm pretty confident we'll all be good. Lindbergh School is our last part of that project. But the real reason and most important part of my report tonight is to acknowledge, and I mentioned them by name last month, 3 of our most deserving, not that everyone doesn't deserve it, but Teachers of the Year as voted by your colleagues, as voted by your administrators and past recipients. Tomorrow we will be representing the Palisades Park Schools. When I say we, I get to sit in an audience just a little bit bigger, about 600 of you, and I get to be, I don't know, the master of ceremonies for it. So, Lori, you're lucky I don't get to sit with you tomorrow. Sorry, Will, and Maliki, too bad. But it's an absolute honor and pleasure to ask the 3 of you to come forward to publicly acknowledge you and congratulate you. From the junior senior high school, Will Hutchinson. Come on. You should have worn a tie. If you wore a tie, I would have looked better. Come on, Mel. Get over here. What are we doing? I'm gonna take a picture. Hold on. He got the coach of the year. He forgot how to do this. From Lindbergh Elementary School, Maliki McMullen. Congrats. Well deserved. And from the Early Childhood Center, Lori Nova. Congratulations. Not to bore you all with any much longer of your time, but the challenge I am going to probably give the rest of the County Teachers of the Year tomorrow is something that I'll share with you all tonight. Clearly, it's about paying it forward. It's about passing something that you've learned and becoming a great educator to future leaders. I've been fortunate to, I think, and I applaud the administrators in the back of the room and those not here tonight, but we've been interviewing some great candidates. I'm really pleased with the quality of people coming in, but they're new to our schools. I ask not just the Teachers of the Year, but all of you, continue to do what you're doing, make our schools a great place to be, and thank you. Appreciate it, Ms. Chung.
Thank you for your reports and congratulations again to 3 teachers. So, I think we should ask Mrs. Hernandez, do you have any reports?
I had access, she's okay.
You do?
Yeah. Thank you.
And next, our board attorney, Mr. Bush, do you have any report? Okay. Right, so we move on to the meeting minutes for approval. There's 2 meeting minutes this time. One is the meeting minutes for the regular meeting on April 17th. The other is budget hearing on May 7th. So, since it's 2 meeting minutes, I'd like to make a consent agenda of these 2 meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a
To
motion.
consent. In second? Who's second? All in favor?
I will be here for the budget hearing.
Let the minutes reflect Rebecca was not here for the budget hearing.
Thank you for the comments. there's two consent agenda, which is, meeting minutes for approval. Can I make a motion, not make a motion, but roll call please?
I think they did an all in favor. You did an all in favor on this?
No, it's all in favor for consent.
Yeah, we have Anthony Kim made the motion, William Kim second.
Well, that's a consent and then we are
For approval
approving it.
minutes. Did you approve it already?
Not yet.
I thought this was for approving both.
No,
items.
it was about consent, to make this to a consent agenda.
Add those to consent agenda?
Right, because it's a separate.
Okay. Did the people making the motion, whoever made the motion, agree to
Yeah.
that? Who made the
Who
motion?
made-
Anthony and William.
So,
Did they agree that that's what they were doing?
Are you guys making a motion on separate items or collective?
Collective, I mean.
yeah,
just
that
say
was, my
I guess to
question.
clarify, can we make a motion to approve, J, numbers 1 and 2 on the agenda? Approval of board minutes.
Yeah, so we all favored,
You had an original motion that was for what? I just wanna be clear. The original motion was to add those two items to the consent agenda? Is that right?
yeah,
Okay. So is there's an active motion, whoever's motion that was would have to be withdrawn before we consider the second motion.
okay.
So the first motion was the one to add I believe, who made the motion? The first motion?
I suggested then Mr. Anthony Kim made the motion, right?
Right.
But
Okay.
yes.
And was your motion to add, J
Just
1 and
two.
2 to the consent agenda?
That is correct.
Okay, so there's a motion, there was a second, so you can do all those in favor on that.
Right, we did.
The
And then
exception
Mr.
of
Rebecca
me.
has to,
All those, just to add, all you're doing is adding to the
Absolutely,
consent
yeah.
agenda, okay. So all those in favor? They already
and they
agreed?
already did,
Okay.
so now I'm asking for roll call.
That's the one, that was, yes, the second motion, okay.
Just do a roll call, please.
Sue Chung,
Yes?
Anthony Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Aaron Pack, Suk Young Park,
Yes.
Charlie Kim, William Kim,
Yes.
Bo Young Yu.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next, there are 21 finance agendas for approval. May I have a motion? Any discussion? Any more questions before we take the action? If not, roll call please.
Sorry, Mr. Shin made the motion?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sue
By the
Chung,
way, who did second?
Aaron.
Aaron,
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
Sue Chung.
Yes?
Anthony Kim,
Yes.
William Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Aaron Pack, Suk Young Park,
Yes.
Charlie Shin,
Yes.
Bo Young Yu.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Building and ground, there are two consent agenda, number 1 and 2. Do you have any further discussion or questions? May I have a motion to approve agenda number 1 and 2?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call
both
please.
agendas.
Sue Chung,
Yes?
Anthony Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Aaron Pack, Suk Young Park,
Yes.
Charlie Shin,
Yes.
William Kim,
Yes.
Bo Young Yu.
Aye.
Thank you.
Now in personnel, we have 5 consent agenda for approval. May I have a motion? May I have a motion to approve 5 consent agenda in
I'll make the
personnel? Any second?
Second.
Roll call please.
Sue Chung,
Yes?
Anthony Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Aaron Pack, Suk Young Park,
Yes.
Charlie Shin,
Yes.
William Kim,
Yes.
Bo Young Yu.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next is the curriculum. Ms. Young Yu, we missed you for the working session. Do you have any comments or any discussion
No,
on
no.
these curriculum matters?
No, I don't.
We have one consent agenda, which is a further trip in curriculum. If there's any other questions or discussions, may I have a motion to approve this curriculum agenda and resolution?
All in favor? All in favor if you want on this, because this is requirement call. Field trips.
This one, okay.
Any motion?
Unanimous.
Second.
Motion, second, all those in favor?
Who second?
No, we need it first. We need a motion.
No motion yet?
We don't have it.
Can I have a motion?
Who's gonna motion?
Second here.
Okay, all in favor?
Who made-
Wait,
Any opposed?
Any objection, any opposed, abstention?
Okay, good.
Motion
Who made
passed,
it?
right?
Did it?
Chelsea?
who made it?
Nobody.
Who made the motion? Rebecca, did you make the motion?
No.
Did this?
No, Bo Young.
Bo?
Bo.
Bo.
Thank you.
I did second.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
I thought it was Joe Spilazzo.
I was just questioning who did it. I knew who did it in Rand, but I didn't know who made the motion.
All in favor?
Negotiations. Mr. William Hill, you said you have no reports today. So policy, we have a one consent agenda, which is of a policy number 5142.2, physical restraints. May I have a motion to approve this new policy?
Before us, we have a one resolution. I'd like to make a motion as the consent agenda.
We have only one,
One.
yeah. We don't need that.
Second.
The policy 5142.2.
Right. So may I have a motion to approve number one on the policy?
Ms. Min made the motion.
Yes.
Motion, okay.
I second.
Second.
Second by Rebecca.
All in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed?
Any
Any
abstention?
opposed? Abstention? So that we don't need this.
You don't need that for call, only certain ones, mostly the finance and personnel is required roll call. Yeah.
Okay, New Jersey School Board Liaison Alternate Sugyambak. Mrs. Sugyambak, you have no reports today.
No, no report.
Yes, County School Board Rep Alternate, Mr. Aaron Bach, so we don't have reports or any resolution. So School Safety and Security Committee, Mr. Anthony King,
No report.
we don't have all the business. So let's move on to new business.
As mentioned earlier, there are two items. We can do them together, we can do them separately, but the first one is a recommendation, after speaking to the local law enforcement, that primary day of June 4th, 2024 be a half-day scheduled for all faculty, staff, and students. And number two, the voter registration statement of assurance has been successfully administered at our junior, senior high school. I need a motion to submit that, please.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we'll go to the audience participation, and any audience in public can make a comments.
The old business, okay, as for our discussion in April, we set up TFT team to improve the graduation rate and absentee rate and the school ranking system, and we set up that, and we had initial meeting in May, right? So why don't you explain about that? I'm not in charge, I just a member of that TFT team, so.
That's a good point, thank you.
So why don't we introduce our activities to the other members? We
So
did
I
have
don't-
the meeting, and
Record the date, but Dr. Cirillo and me and Mr. Charlie Sin and Ms. Boyok Yu from curriculum committee, we were in the high school to meet Mr. Garcia to discuss about the high school graduation rate and the ranking things, right? And Dr. Ciro, would you mind to explain the meeting?
Sure. For the board's edification, after one of our last meetings, when some of the statistics and data was being discussed, I think Mr. Shin and some of the other board members discussed the desire to have a task force of sorts. I asked the school administrators at our next principal or administrator roundtable to prepare some information to speak to these methodologies and how the data is not necessarily all black and white. We looked at our graduation rate, and I know that after meeting with the junior, senior high school, and Mr. Shin, Ms. Chung, Ms. Yu, last year, we had a graduation rate of 94.2%, which we are very proud of. That is, I believe, and from the year prior, 89.1%, if my memory serves correct. So we are trending in the right direction. We are obviously, again, hopeful that, and when we look at graduation rate, it does not necessarily indicate every student that graduates in the month of June. There could be students who have summer school requirements to fulfill. And when we are appealing any of those situations, because we are a very unique community of students, when we appeal those, obviously every student sometimes can factor into about 1 percentage point. So it's very important that we process all of that information. As I mentioned at one of our last meetings, we would not have passed QSAC in one of our 5 areas of identification of instruction and programming if our graduation rate did not rise the way it did at the junior senior. We also look at some of our AP scores that continue to go and trend in the right direction. Year after year, we are sending children to Ivy League institutions. We are very proud of the achievements, and doesn't mean that the work is complete. We have a lot of work to do, but again, as I mentioned in the past, magazine articles and state reports don't truly paint the picture of what our schools genuinely reflect. So the plan is to then next meet with Lindbergh Elementary School to discuss some of their scores in the near future. Unfortunately, the Early Childhood Center is not assessed as they shouldn't be at this age, but we can still look at other benchmark internal assessments.
At the meeting, Dr. Cyril asked for some kind of a help for the students attending some as a business intern, so the other board members should cooperate. Okay, maybe next meeting I'll explain about this, then the other board members please cooperate with their matters. We can help that.
Thank you. So I think what Mr. Shin is referring to really quickly is something that we started years ago with some of our academy students, their internship programs available. We want to afford other students with internships through our Option 2 program where they can receive credit. We are looking to work with our local community, with our schools, with government. Maybe it's a culinary institute or a store on Broad Avenue where it's not only an internship where they will receive credit, but it could lead to a part-time position where so many of our students are working long hours outside of this community, and that hinders their ability to get to school in the morning. So I think just having better overall relations with our Chamber of Commerce and any other faction of town government that will assist with this.
Thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Garcia, for having a time for us to discuss and your presentation. And my last asking a request to you as your administrator is that we still need to seek for the solution how to minimize those score and data discrepancies between our boards to the states. We don't want to wow and then get to all the blame for all those numbers, which is not true.
The good news is as we continue to fix any erroneous information, you guys will all get the credit for being a great board and making it turn around.
Thank you. So is there any questions and discussion? Can we move on to audience participation? Okay, great. So next, we'll go to the audience participation. Any audience in public can make comments, and each speaker is allowed 3 minutes. Please state your name and address first. Ms. Rivera?
Noemi Rivera, Glen Avenue. I wrote down my thoughts today because I know we're not allowed to go back and forth, but this is important and I don't want to forget anything. I'm here today. I've been around for like 3 years, but for the first time I'm here today as the PTA president, the taxpayer, and a parent. I'd like to address the issue of the teachers' contracts. I've inquired about it about 2 months ago, and clearly, given the amount of teachers in this room, it hasn't been resolved. I'd like to know if we're any closer to reaching a fair agreement for them. I'm sure that you guys are working hard, and I know that it's a voluntary position, but the longer this is prolonged, the more difficult it will become. I'm worried about teacher morale and the nationwide teacher shortage. Dragging this out is a surefire way to lose some great teachers, some of which are in this room today. The district is already dealing with overcrowding in the schools and subpar grades, which we're told now is being fixed. And we're also told that those grades are attributed to EL learners. But there's a bigger picture. As a sanctuary state, Palisades Park is only gonna face more challenges. The combination of uninvolved parents, overcrowding, teacher shortages, exhausted and unhappy teachers is a recipe for disaster, with our children undoubtedly bearing the brunt of all these issues. This situation has been really weighing on me. I've seen firsthand what the teachers are dealing with, but I also comprehend the financial constraints the board is facing, especially after the budget meeting earlier this month. It put some things into perspective. I'm just a parent, so clearly I haven't seen the teachers' contracts or their demands, but funding is usually the root of it all. This might be naive of me, but if the board stance is that it cannot reallocate funds to help with the financial portion of the teachers' contracts, what if we all come together, the teachers, the taxpayers, parents, and the board, to put pressure on our elected officials so that we can get an additional percentage on top of the 2% to ensure the teachers get what they need for a successful and fair contract? Is it possible?
Well, before Dr. answers, I'll just make a comments that we as elected officers, we are also parents, we are taxpayers. Some of them may be teachers. So we hear you, and we all are aware of your frustration and concerns. But we are not allowed to speak about teachers' contract publicly based upon that our mutually agreed ground rules. But as elected officers, again, like, I'm a taxpayer as well. I don't mind to pay more taxes, but I can force others. I mean, it's just my opinion for myself. And as a board member, I have a duty to make all the board or this school district in good standing within our budget. But what I can do is I will try my best how to solve this kind of budget problem, the ongoing, it's never been really solved for many, many decades. That this is something that this board, school board, and the municipal governing body may sit on the table one day. We can discuss, or as a community members, so we'll work on it. This is not the short-term things to resolve, but we will be working on it. Dr. Silo, do you have any answers?
I think you did a nice job of responding.
Thank you. So, any other audience? Miss,
Corinne Sterney.
Miss.
Yes, I'm one of the chairs for the negotiation, and I have some stuff to say. So, on April 30th, the PPEA negotiations team met with the board members, team members, and the state assigned mediator to negotiate our collective bargaining agreement. It's called the contract. The duration of the meeting was over 5 hours. It ended after 11:45 p.m. Nothing was resolved and productively discussed. The mediator asked the PPA negotiations team and the board team to reduce their proposal request to fewer items in effort to move along the process. The PPA immediately worked to condense our request and prepare what was requested. The board, however, wished to keep all 69-page proposal open for discussion. The board has made it very clear through their proposals that they expect the teachers to fund their own raises. In order to compensate for any increases in the salary, they want us to increase, in order to compensate for any increases in salary, they want to increase what we pay in our benefits. The board's 69-page proposal contained unnecessary
Sorry,
rewrites.
Mrs. Sterney, as I told you, as in my response to
You
Mr.
can't cut her
Rivera,
off.
that
She
I
can, actually, it's our meeting, we'll give
I
you,
told
we'll give you
that
time.
you
But that was
She can.
broken
So I
and
have
Let
to
her
you
remind
broke
continue.
you, I have to
Ms.
remind
Listen,
you
hold on,
that you.
yeah, this is our meeting.
Thank
This
you,
is our
thank you,
meeting.
Bill, I appreciate that.
Let her
This is,
continue.
we're gonna let her continue, but this is our meeting, so if the board president has something to say, we'll certainly let you finish.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
she's warning you of the fact that we have ground rules.
That you broke.
Yes,
That
I'm
you-
just trying to warning you.
You can
I
warn
will
them, I
remind
appreciate it.
you that you are breaking the ground
That
rule
were already
which
broken.
was proposed
Nothing
by
broke.
your party.
Got it.
Yes. So that, I just wanna remind you, and
Got
you
it.
can keep continuing speak
Appreciate
for
it.
that need.
The board's 69 proposal contained unnecessary rewrites and language changes that are already covered by the New Jersey law. The board's proposed revisions to our contract gives control of the discretion and the operations of the district to the board to a degree that calls into question the board's goals and purpose. It seems that the board's vision for this contract would effectively undo a decades of progress that we have made. The PPA's team proposal, by contrast, is a total of 3 pages with a focus on key financial asks and improvements that will better our school programs, help attract and retain teachers, qualified teachers, and staff. Every surrounding district has settled, even ones that are expiring this year, and we are just beginning. Most of our surrounding districts had a team meet and then come up with ways to improve pay and work conditions with a joint goal of retaining the teachers. Surrounding districts did not look to take away from teachers. The board is wasting money and time to rewrite the contract and stall the negotiations process as a result. As a negotiations team, we have tirelessly explained the process to the current board, and they are unwilling to listen. For the good of the district, staff, students, the board needs to come to the table prepared and to be responsible and negotiate in earnest. As a union, we are wondering if the board is really looking to do its best for the interests of students, staff, school, district, and community. Thank you for letting me speak.
For your last statement. Maybe Mr. William Gilbert, if you have comments, you can talk, but prior to that, for your last sentence, of course we do. That's why we are taking this very seriously, not just say yes, yes, yes. And as with the discussion, in our first meeting, you guys told us that this is first board members who working really hard on this issue, correct? And that's why, that's the reason that we really take this seriously, for not just for teachers, for other employees in other associations, supervisors and directors, administrators, and the maintenance, tech, and also students, parents, taxpayers. So we take things seriously, and we really look forward to go things in result in mutually beneficial agreements that can make both parties happy. And rest of it, that I wish our negotiation committee chair, Mr. William Kim, if he has any comments, then would appreciate.
I can respond briefly, but are there any other EA members that would like to speak first? Anything else you'd like to say? No? I'm a relatively new board member. This is my second year. And the I will say it is a bit of a strange situation I found myself in. I would have thought I was walking into more of a collaborative process with this, given that the happiness of our teachers critical to the school district's success. We're also working within a defined budget, as you know, so it's not like we can create money out of thin air, right? So, given those two things, you would think that we would work collaboratively, and that's kind of what my expectations were going in. It turns out it's more of an adversarial relationship. Now, I would say that that's probably representative of the history that I was unaware of between the board and the PBA. But I'm hopeful that we can move forward constructively. We're not here to fight. I have no desire or time to do that. We're trying to figure out what's best for the school. Regarding a 69-page or proposal contract or proposal in any sense, you know, a lot of those terms, without getting to specifics, were contract structure related. And there's pros and cons to working on that. When you have a sloppy contract, I've gone through thousands in my career, okay? It doesn't help either side in actuality, because when you leave ambiguity or room for error or room for interpretation, what happens is all it takes is one or two board members to come in, or one or two members from the PPA to come in and use it to their advantage, okay? Without going to specifics, there is a section in the contract right now that's very unhelpful to you teachers that you don't even know about, that I'm trying to fix, okay? And so to just automatically say a change in contract structure or all these proposals not helpful is also not constructive to negotiations. So you are heard, completely understand where you're coming from. I think we should try to move forward on the things that are important, and then maybe we can address the things that are more of a structure or wording issues separately. But that would be my goal going forward.
Mrs. Jones, if you, I have a little, the small statement, if you allow, can I?
Sure.
Yes.
What is about the negotiation?
Yes.
Does that contain the confidential
No.
matters and things? It's not. I'm sorry?
I just want to be clear, just want to make sure that we're not disclosing confidential details of the negotiation itself. That's fine. Otherwise, it's fine. Whatever. It's just that we have ground rules. I want to make sure we stick to. That's
I know, yeah, I can
Yes,
touch,
Mr. Shi,
okay.
please go ahead.
I can be involved like in specific matters, but it's just the wide range of the statement, okay?
Yes, please.
I would like to address to all the teachers and parents and those involved. Since the unprecedented pandemic, we've seen our lives change dramatically. I commend everyone for adapting to these changes and persevering through these tough times. However, following such a significant upheaval, we are now facing record-breaking inflation worldwide, including in the United States. I understand that this has made life difficult for everyone, especially those with fixed salaries and budgets. Also, the organizations with limited budgets are facing even more challenges. Amid these circumstances, I understand that we are currently negotiating new contracts with our teachers. Both parties are under immense pressure, leading to tense negotiations. As you know, the New Jersey regulations limit the annual budget increase to 2%. We are also well aware of the annual inflation rate and the average salary increases for the New Jersey teachers. Despite this, we acknowledge the need for higher compensation, with personal costs accounting for 65% of our total budget. Exceeding our budget increases limit forces us to cut other expenses. This could directly affect the facilities, supplies, and activities we provide for our students. I urge everyone to consider the other party's situation and show some empathy. I believe that no teacher wants to see broken or leaking school restrooms or be unable to purchase necessary supplies due to budget constraints. We are committed to doing our best within the limits of our budget to offer the best possible conditions for our teachers. We are appealing to the city government and other agencies for additional support too. I assure you that we'll offer the best possible conditions we can afford so our students can enjoy learning from happy teachers. We deeply regret that current circumstances and hope we can reach a mutually agreeable solution through some compromises. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. That's a statement I made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Thank you, Mr. William Kim as well.
Yeah, I'd like to speak.
Just a sec,
He asked if we would finish the public comment, and that's up to you, but I thought we were done with it.
It's not closed. We didn't close it.
Excuse me,
no, just a second, I have to
if you can just let me talk to the board president, we're gonna figure this out, okay? Thank you.
we just keep the courtesy and me in public.
Please.
Please.
I thought we opened to the public.
We didn't close it.
I know.
Yes, Mr. Mobley?
No, it's
Sorry,
Mr. Lee Bustler,
Yes, sir.
and I teach at the high school and I'm part of the team.
Yeah.
So is it okay if I talk?
You can talk, but please, you heard that mighty mind of you about breaking our ground rules. And we already did so much, and then your team
Yeah,
is this first
I heard it, I
try.
got 20/20 here. Okay, so, Bill, I don't wanna put you on the spot, but you talked about it being an adversarial type of situation here. How did it become that way? We've been over this, canceled meetings, this and that. We are not trying to be adversarial, we just don't wanna have to address all 50+ items in 69 pages of your proposal. We have constantly heard the Board of Education say, we support the teachers over and over again. Okay, you made it clear that the teachers are the ones who have to make up for your budget shortfall. So you have to find money in that realm. Okay, but if you do support the teachers, I say actions mean more than words. And they speak to the strength and validity of your words. We support the teachers. Well, your actions, they speak otherwise. I'm not gonna go over everything that has been said at past meetings, but every single step of this process, the board has shown a blatant lack of respect for every single educator in the Palisades Park School District in the process of contract negotiations. We support the teachers, all right? Well, here's the secret. Take a look around. Let's try and find the educators who are here because they believe the Board of Education actually supports the teachers. We aren't that naive, we're not that naive that your 4 simple words actually have any meaning. I'm trying to envision in my head, like, who in here wakes up in the morning and the first thing you're like, oh, gee, our Board of Education loves us. They really support us. Unfortunately, it's quite the contrary. Just as unfortunate, there might be a few of you up there that do support teachers. But whether you support the teachers or you don't, the fact of the matter is that you are faced with one question as we move forward through the process of contract negotiations. How are you, the Palisades Park Board of Education, going to show that you actually support the teachers? That's it.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Headquarters?
Mary Paplota, of Wagland Avenue. I was gonna say I'm one of those parents who come here every single meeting. If I'm not here, it has to be for something very urgent. Because I believe coming to the board meeting and show the board member that we are here to watch how you guys move and what you do. And I didn't hear that about the thing for the teacher, on and on. And I also work for the school, different school, and I know how it feel. And I know how hard life will be when you're expecting something to change in our life. I'm a parent, and I know my daughter have a lot of good teacher here who she really wanna finish with them. And I would not like to see them gone because of what we're doing. I know that you're doing this as of extra time. I know you guys giving your time, but you compromise when you go out and you want our vote. I would like this, because we have a lot in our town. We have a lot going on in our town, that we getting this extra is not necessary. I wanna see that the teacher get what they deserve, because this is what we put our kid every day. We give them to them, so this is part of our raising our children. So we have to give them the best. Also, as a mother, I feel that every day when you go to the supermarket, it's very expensive. So the teacher had to pay rent, had to pay the bill, had to leave, come far away, some of them hour driving, to come here to educate our kids. So please, board member, you know me, I come here every day. I was gonna give this credit to myself. One of the parents who come here every month to just sit here and say, this is what we need, and this is what we need now. We need this to end. We need this to finish, please. I know you guys working, but I want this to finish. You see how everybody comes there because they want to keep this finished. And I will ask the teacher, please, if you could guys come more here. I know you guys live far away sometimes, but come here and watch how we do and how they move. And that way they know you are watching, you care. Today is a good day to come, but please, when you have a chance, come to the meeting and know who are the board members. And that way we have better connection. We are not enemy. I want you guys to understand we could work together. Teacher, board member, if we work together and parent, it will be better school, better kid. And again, my last thing, Tirelo, I know last time I was here, we talked about the fence. I haven't seen nothing about the fence. I'm gonna come here every day and say about Lindbergh. What are we doing? When this is gonna get fixed? When this gate is gonna be open? I need to know. I wanna see this open. I don't wanna see that every day that the kid is jumping over to just go and cross with a bicycle, throwing in there. Like, when we gonna restore this thing? Every month I come here, I feel like I'm a reporter already. And I'm already annoying this, like, you know me. Because every month, I come here with the same issue. Who is half the key? Who is the person who can open that gate? Last time, I didn't have my phone with me because I was walking my dog. Or shy, I had to hold it with my hand because he tried to jump over. And I don't wanna hear that it's a town and this and that we need an officer. No, we don't need an officer there. We need that gate to be open for the kids to go. We don't have a playground. We don't have a community center here. We don't have nothing. This is the only place for the kids to come and play and have a little time. I live there and I know how many times I had to witness this. Please, let's find a solution. Yes, Mr. Velasco, because he know I'm going here for everything. Let's find a solution.
That was a mistake.
Yes, please, because you were the one know about the
Mr.
people.
Torres, as time is over. But that was actually your last question, except for the negotiation parts about the fence thing.
Yes, please.
That was
please.
ongoing questions, and actually we responded to you last 2 months ago that our board member and Dr. Cirillo were meet municipal mayor council and then discuss about what other issues, but including that issue as well, because that requires petrol services for students and resident safety.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the first part you said. We need one?
Oh, the petrol
Delivery.
service, yes. Petrol.
The patrol service.
And then they gonna open when it's a patrol?
We will announce you. We'll try our best to make it
So-
that patrol is gonna be
Can I just-
permanent there?
Can I just
It's
add one
Dr.
thing,
Cicero.
please? And Neris, I hear you loud and clear. 21 years of working here, I know you very well.
Yes.
I don't need to be reactive to a problem, and we can't stop every problem from happening, but just today, in Glen Rock, there was a shooting at a field, at a school field, Memorial School Field. I'm not comfortable opening our gates unsupervised. It's my responsibility. And if it was safe, the gates would be open, just like I said last month in every meeting. I've been working with the board, I've been working with the municipal government, I've called the police department. All I need is a little bit of help. I've gotten quotes, I've gotten pricing.
Do you think it will be safe when a kid jump over with a bicycle and go in the ground?
No, I know
Broke
the
his
answer to
leg
that,
or
you know
his
the
arm?
answer to that, but the
That's when
gate,
it's gonna
but
be safe?
but you know and I know the gate is also open if they went around back. Yes or no?
The gate.
The
or
gate
that
by the
door
boiler room is open.
is
They
safe.
choose to jump the fence because they don't wanna walk around.
No, it's not always open.
In the
You're right.
summertime.
Okay,
They are.
regardless, safety and security has always been the #1 concern.
Jumping over fence because it's not safe.
I agree with you.
It's not safe at
But,
all.
but we are very much aware of your concerns, because, so,
It's not resolved.
that part's. Is there any audience? Any other comments? Ms. Otuni?
Yes. I just wanted to ask about the ECC summer school hours. How come they were cut to, 3 hours and 15 minutes as opposed to 4 hours?
So in years past, is that all? The
Yeah.
only question? In years past, we have received a lot of federal guidance and money that came with it. Unfortunately, those funds have no longer been available to us. So this is something within our budget, being conscious of it being our regular budget being funding the summer school programs. We had to make some exceptions.
Can we ask the students to pay for some of it? I mean, it's.
We considered that. I think we know,
Back and forth
this is
every
not an
day.
enrichment program, Nicole, in all fairness. If it was an enrichment program, I'd feel very, comfortable in asking the community members to pay.
But it's a remedial service for students who really.
It's a
need it.
remediation, and I don't wanna paint the picture that you see me painting. I think unfortunately, if this was something that incurred cost, our numbers would even be lower. I'll look at it more closely.
Thank you.
Any other comments from public? Ms. Boba.
My name is Patricia Beauvais. I'm 10 Henry Avenue. I want to say there's a difference from there's a difference from listening to respond than listening to understand. And Ms. Rivera and 2 other teachers spoke before me, and they were not heard, they were not understood, and their questions weren't answered. My son goes to ECC. Some of those ECC teachers are sitting to the left of me, to the right of me, and in back of me. And they don't deserve how the board is acting. They do not. They deserve more and then some. They do so much, and I'm so grateful for every teacher I've come across. My son has excelled in the past year, yes, because of me as a parent, but also because of the teachers in ECC. And I want to say again, Ms. Rivera and the 2 teachers before me, they asked the question, they had heavy things to say, and it was like something off a script that was said back to them, and they don't deserve that. And I understand with the 2 teachers, maybe with negotiations, certain things can't be said, but Ms. Rivera asked the question at the end, and her question was not answered. Can we all get together and do something to help the teachers, the taxpayers, the board, the parents? And I would like a real answer, not a script answer, a real answer, an honest, genuine answer. And I said all that as a parent. Now I have something to say as PTA secretary. I have had the honor to go to ECC, Lindbergh, and the high school, and I have met amazing teachers they're honestly amazing, they're funny, they're such genuine people. They have bonds with the children and bonds with each other, and that's so rare to see. And I hope moving forward they're treated with the respect they deserve. And I understand as a board member this is voluntary, but in all honesty I don't understand that, because each and every one of you took the time to run, took the time to promote, post your flyers, your pictures. And I've been here for a year and I can't say one thing that the board has done for the teachers, for the students. I honestly think parents and teachers are getting half answers or something written off a script, and the teachers don't deserve that and our students don't deserve that. I feel the teachers are being walked all over. You're stepping on their backs and smiling in their face saying, we love you, we respect you, but in all honesty, you don't. Just by the responses you gave, you do not respect the teachers, you do not honor them. 3 teachers were given certificates and they were given praise, but let's be real here, you don't respect them, you don't honor them, because
I disagree, and now I'm starting to take offense.
I'm not trying to offend you
Well,
whatsoever.
I know, working in
But-
this community as long as I have and sitting on this dais with this board, I'm not gonna speak for them, but you're taking shots. I respect each and every one of
I'm
them.
not
They're
taking
friends
shots.
of mine, they're colleagues
What's-
of mine.
Okay,
So I respect each
I-
and every one of them, just like the board does.
okay, I totally understand, but I hope you see and feel the anger that these teachers have. Like, I'm sitting here and they're angry. They're point blank, they're angry and they deserve more. And I'll apologize, I'm not trying to offend anyone or anything like that. But I hope some resolution can be made.
I think our both deserve your respect as well, because we respect you as well too. And there's a question that what you say that you guys, not you, teachers don't deserve the acting of our board. What does that mean? Like, do you think we are not treating well, or are we ignoring the issues? What does that mean?
Are you asking me
Yeah.
the question?
Yeah, what is not, when you say the board is, teachers are not, they don't deserve a board's acting, what acting is that?
Well,
We
when
did
they're
try our
speaking,
best, we came out the meeting after midnight, we didn't eat dinner, it's not just first time, we do our work.
I understand, I'm just saying from my point of view as a parent, 2
I'm the
teachers
parent
spoke.
too. There is some teachers I really respect, that my child learn.
Okay, your child doesn't come to the school district, so you can't
We're not
under.
gonna
What?
talk about it.
I'm sorry, what did
I
you
said
say?
your child doesn't come to the school
Okay,
district.
we're not gonna
He
talk.
attended 5 years here,
Okay, what you,
Can I answer
let me just
the
more
say,
than your child.
what you said is that the board is, I believe, and I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but I seem to recall that you said that the board steps on the teachers' backs and
Yes.
smiles at them. So I wanna respond. First of all, we certainly, this goes without saying that we appreciate the teachers. Now, I know that there's a disagreement on that, or what that means. This is a legally regulated process. This is a contract that doesn't expire until June 30th. The board volunteers, just like you in your role as a parent-teacher volunteer. The board members are volunteers, and they're doing what they can to organize themselves, make assessments based on what can be afforded, and then negotiate in good faith. Now, the first thing that happened in the negotiation process, which is public information, and I'm not saying anything out of turn, and you may not know this as a parent, but that the teachers' union filed what's called an unfair practice charge against this school district for not negotiating. When in fact, the district was in the process of putting together a committee of hardworking volunteers who are lay people, in many cases, just like you, and figuring out exactly what they were going to be able to do, because this negotiation stuff is complicated stuff. It's complicated for the association, it's complicated for the board. No one, not one member of this board, no matter where they are politically, no matter who they are, in their professional positions, where they are on this board, no one has any degree of disrespect for the teachers. This concept that's being suggested tonight that otherwise is one-sided, it's unfair, and it's unreasonable. Now, you can't change people's minds, people feel how they feel, and every person's opinion is a valid opinion because it's theirs. But you have to think objectively about this as a community member and understand we are doing our very best to try to work this out. No one wants to work this out. You think people want to stay till 11:45 at night away from their families, away from their kids, missing sporting events, doing all the things that they do? You think they enjoy doing that? You as a parent wouldn't enjoy doing that. I'm sure you don't have to do that necessarily in your role as a volunteer. No one wants to do that. So it's important that we understand. Scripts are read because there are a lot of stringent legal requirements on what can and can't be said. We had a little of that discussion tonight as well. Everyone in this room, the people on, the teachers who are here, the board members want this worked out. Everyone wants it to be done. But it's how we get there that creates the very process that we're in, which is a recognized process that every single school district, whether you work here or whether you work in another district, has. And we are in the middle of that. It's the way this process goes. It can sometimes get a little uncomfortable, just like when you negotiate with anyone, but our best work is done when we finally get a chance to work this out. It's gonna happen. When, I'm not sure, hopefully sooner than later, but I think everybody agrees on that point.
Thank you, Mr. Bush. Is there any audience who wanna make a speech in public? Ms. Amanda?
Amanda Bellotti, PPA president and teacher at the high school. The attorney just said that it's important that everyone understand, so I just want to provide a little clarification as to why the PPEA filed the unfair labor practice charge. We attempted to begin negotiations in the fall. By January, when we asked for initial exchange of proposals, the board did not have a proposal prepared for exchange. By February 1st, the board canceled our negotiations meeting because they did not have a proposal ready. They said they would not have a proposal ready before the February 6th meeting. February 6th came. We met even though they did not have a proposal prepared. We set ground rules. I'm not done. Thank you. In February 13th, there was still no proposal ready. Their goal was for the February 22nd meeting. On February 20th, we received another email that they still did not have a proposal ready, and they canceled all the meetings moving forward at that time.
Sorry, that
On
was
February 22nd, I would like to finish
February.
speaking, please, and then you can respond to
Hold on,
me.
this is not your meeting. If she stops you, you can continue.
Am I over my 3 minutes?
But you are making a claim and we have to
Excuse
explain
me.
what that claim is about. It's a baseless
Let me
claim
say something.
and
This is the second
Can I
time.
just talk?
Listen, let me just say, this is the second time.
this is your first meeting here.
This is my second meeting here, and this is our third meeting as a firm. Let me explain something to you. It's not respectful to talk like that. It's not
No, it
your
isn't.
meeting, it's
But
ours.
she's interrupting
Listen,
him.
it's the Board of Education meeting. If we came to your meeting
It's
as an
disrespectful
association,
the way you're speaking
and
to me.
you're gonna have all your time, I promise. If we came to
So then
your
just let her
meeting,
have it.
if
It's
we
not
came to
interrupted.
your
Then let her
meeting,
finish.
Yeah,
Let her finish.
you're making it worse
If-
for yourself.
Yeah.
No, I'm
This
saying,
is, no one's making it worse for anything. We're trying to have our meeting, and we're trying to clarify some things. You've come to our meeting, and we're gonna try to talk. So we're gonna try to talk, and let the board president finish what she's saying. And then we'll continue your time, and you'll have every bit of your 3 minutes, we promise. Go ahead.
Samantha, that time frame, I hope you're very aware of our email exchange or talk on the discussion, our discussion in very first meeting. Our board was appointed in January, and the committee chair was appointed, the negotiation committee was late January. We start from scratch from that day. And we made a proposal for whole months, back and forth between and within those committee members. We are not ignoring your things. We didn't neglect our duty that we have to really get this negotiation done as soon as possible. And we explained it in our meeting, and I don't know what's the intention that you bring up this public meeting again about over that timeline issues.
Oh, I could absolutely clarify that. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the board attorney mentioned in a way that suggested that we were unreasonable in filing the unfair labor practice. And so I am trying to clarify, for the edification of the public and the board, exactly why we filed that unfair labor practice charge.
And
That it was
wasn't able to be
after a series of canceled meetings. And I understand that this is a new team to this board, but this is not the first contract negotiations that has ever happened in the history of time. It's done every time a contract expires. So our request that you negotiate in a reasonable timeline in a fair way is not unreasonable.
And that should also be on the board to communicate within the board.
And, right, we have teams. The board's team is a few people, but you have a whole board. It shouldn't have come as a surprise to the board or the board's negotiations team when they were selected that you would have to negotiate. And it doesn't need to be starting from scratch. You have a history. There's a contract that's existed and which we know quite well. So, I think, honestly, your reactions, the way that you handle things tonight, says more than I can say. I think it says everything that needs to be known.
Any other comments? Mr. Joseph Plato?
Quick question. I'm the senior representative of the custodial maintenance department. We have any negotiations going on?
Your contract expires next year, sir.
Yeah, no, just asking if there's anything going on yet.
For your crew?
Yeah,
No, I think the board is engulfed in something else.
that's what I thought. It's always been that way. I've been here over almost 34 years, and it's always been that way. And boy, my eyes got opened up really good today. I was trying to leave before this started, but someone got me kind of ticked off. So just for caring that kids don't get hurt. But my God, as a lifetime resident of Palisades Park for 68 years now, as of the 12th, you have a lot to learn. I still have something to learn. These teachers are not the same faces, but these are the people that taught me way back then too. Been a lifelong member here in this town. They deserve compensation for what they do. Everybody deserves a raise in pay, a fair raise in pay. Just because we were stupid enough to only accept a 2% raise for the last 5 years, we'll be fine with that. I don't care about the money. I make money other places. I lived here my whole life. I love the town. But guess what? I just sold my house. So I won't be here that much longer for you to really be here to help you anymore or really give two poops about this. Have fun.
As you say, we are working for the fair raise.
I haven't seen one in 30 years, man.
That's your opinion.
I'm not bad of a worker? I thank you.
It's helpful to kind of keep going through.
It's
these
not worth it
motions.
no more.
Look, our intention is to
People
continue
move.
in good faith. We appreciate you being here, and I hope we can move forward constructively, collaboratively. You know, the facts are the facts. We don't need to sit here and debate dates. They are what they are. But the fact is, we're here to negotiate in good faith, so let's try to do that.
Thank you again for all your comments. Is there any other person or any audience in public who would like to speak? Thank you. May I have a motion to close the audience participation and adjourn the meeting?
No, we need to go to closed session, and I
Oh,
need
we
to
need to-
take
okay.
formal action, essentially.
We just go to executive session to receive attorney client advice.
I make a
To
motion to
receive
close.
attorney client advice.
Second?
We didn't get a motion yet, did we?
Yes, we did.
Thank you.
I make a motion to close the audience participation and
We need a second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Or in favor? No abstention? No objection?
Formal action will be taken upon
Okay.
return.
That's just